Hi Year 8, today we are looking at converting between time. So to start us off, we've got our starter up on the front. There are 6 questions to have a go at, so pause the video now, have a go at all of them, and when you finish you can unpause the video so you can mark these and check your answers. Okay, so you should have had a go at all of these, so get your red pens ready to mark. The answers are going to be up at the front. So tick them if you got them right, change them if you get them wrong. If there are any you don't understand, feel free to give me an email and we'll try and go through them together. If you need a bit more time to mark these, pause the video and you can mark them that way. But we are going to move on to the main part of the lesson. Okay, so to start us off, we've got a clock face here, and I want to make sure everyone's on the same page with how we're supposed to read these. So with a clock face, we usually use these to tell analog time rather than digital. We have 2 different hands that we use to tell the time on this one. So we've got a smaller hand, which we're going to put in this case at 2. And we also have a larger hand, which in this case we're going to put just here. So these 2 hands tell us 2 different things about the time. I would suggest starting with the larger hand. So the larger hand tells us the number of minutes that have passed the hour. So that's the minutes hand. The smaller hand tells us the number of hours. So when you're reading the time from a clock face, I would suggest starting with the minutes hand. So you look up and you go up in the little ones. So we have 1, 2 little ones that have gone past. So we have our colon here and 2 minutes on this part here. Have a look at the hours. Now we can tell how many hours passed by the last number the small hand has passed. So it might not always be on the 2, it might be somewhere over here, but it hasn't passed 3 yet, so it's going to be the hour is 2. So we have 2:02. Now in analog time, we usually use AM or PM to tell us whether it's morning or it's past midday, so it's afternoon, evening or night. But because we don't know whether this is AM or PM, I'm just going to leave this as 2:02 because we don't have any more information to tell us what it's going to be. Okay, so we're going to practice having a go at reading the time from clock faces. So I'm going to do this one on the left and this one here, and then you're going to have a go at the 2 that say we do above it. So this first one here, we're going to use the same method as before. We're going to look at the minute hand to see how many minutes have gone by. Remember, we count up in the smaller ones. So we have 5 here, 10 more, 15, 20, 25, and then 26, 27, 28, 29 minutes have gone by. So I'm going to put 29 as my minutes. And then my hour, remember, is the last number it's gone past, and we look at the big numbers for that. So the last number my smaller hand went past is 8. So my hours is going to be 8:29. Remember, we can't tell whether it's morning or afternoon or nighttime, so we're just going to leave it as 8:29. Okay, so for this one here, we're going to do minutes again. And say as a trick, these go up in 5, so we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, and then 1 extra one, so we have 51 as the minutes for this one here. And then the hour is the last number, it went past the big one, so it goes up to 4. Now it hasn't quite touched 5 yet, so the hour is still going to be 4, because that's the last number it went past. Remember, as the minutes get closer and closer to 12, what it means is it's almost 5 o'clock, but it's not quite 5 o'clock yet. So it's always going to be the last number it went past. Even if it's really, really close to the next one, it's still going to be 4:51. Okay, what I want you to do, please, is on a piece of paper or in your books or wherever you're working, can you have a go at the 2 clocks that say we do? Write down your guess for the time based on the method we've just used. Pause the video and then unpause it to check if your answers are correct. Okay, get your red pen ready then. Hopefully your answer will match up to the one I have. So the first one, you should have got 8:51 because once again it's the same as the minutes, and the last number it went past is the number 8, so it's going to be 8 o'clock. The second one, we have another 51 minutes, and the last number it went past is 1. So this one is 1:51. Tick them both if you got them right. See if you can see where you made a mistake if you didn't, and they're slightly different to the answer you got. So it's always the best thing to try and see where you went wrong. Okay, so here comes the part where you have a go at the task on your own. So pause the video, set a timer for 10 minutes, or check the time now and add 10 minutes onto that. Have a go at as many of these as you can do in the next 10 minutes, and then unpause the video again when your time is up so you can mark these afterwards. Off you go, 10 minutes. Okay, so 10 minutes is up. Hopefully you've had a go at as many of these as you can. Get a red pen ready to mark these, and your answers are up on the next page where you are going in order for these. Remember, you can pause again if you're still not done marking, but we're going to move on to save time on the video. Right, so we've had a look at how we can read time from a clock, but now we're going to look at the two different types of time. So we've looked at so far what is called analog time. So that's where we have numbers going up from 1 to 12. So this is analog time on the left hand side, and it's spelled like this. Now in analog time, because we've got two sets of numbers going from 1 to 12 in the morning and in the afternoon and night time, we have to use AM and PM to tell us whether we're talking about before midday or after midday. So if it's AM, we're talking about the morning. Let's go back to pen. This is the morning. And PM tells us the afternoon, or evening, or past midday effectively. So that's analog time on the left, but we want to turn it into digital time. Now digital time is slightly different to analog time because we don't use AM or PM. We go up to 24 in our numbers because there are 24 hours in a day. So the way we do this is we have to use 4 numbers, 2 for the hour, 2 for the minutes, and we have to convert these into the right numbers depending on that. So let's start off with midnight in digital time. So midnight is almost like the beginning of the day for a lot of people. It's where it starts, and that's why we have the 4 numbers as 0000. So that means it's the very first hour we're looking at is where the time resets. So midnight in digital time is 0000. Remember, it's really important to get those 4 numbers in. You can't just put 000 because we go all the way up, so it makes it easier for us to recognise if it's digital or analog that we're talking about. Now from then, we just have to keep adding on an hour. So for example, 1 o'clock in the morning is 0100, 2 o'clock in the morning is 0200, and so on and so forth. We keep going like this, adding on the time. So for example, when we get to 11 o'clock in the morning, it's 1100. Now luckily for us, afternoon or midday follows the same pattern. We just add on another one. We've got our 12 there. So midday or noon is going to be 1200, so that's when 12 hours have passed since midnight. So we have 1200. Now digital's almost easier than analog because we just keep adding on the hours. So once we get to midday, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we just add an hour onto 12. So instead of 1 o'clock, we're going to put it down as 1300. And we keep adding on 1 hour to each of these each time we have a new hour. So for example, 2 o'clock is going to be 1400, all the way down 1500, 1600, and keep going until we get to 11, which is 2300. And when we hit that 24th hour at midnight, we reset all the way back to 0 and start again. So it makes it easier to think about digital time as just going from 0 hours all the way up to 24 hours and restarting again. Okay, so we're going to have a go at converting some analog time into digital time now. So the best thing to start off with is to have a look first about whether it is AM or PM. So this time here is AM, which means it's the morning. Remember, midnight is 12 AM. So we know here it's 24 minutes past midnight. So before we said midnight, we were going to give it as 00. Now because it's 24 minutes past midnight, the minutes are not going to be 00, but are going to be 0024. So in digital time, that's midnight, 24 minutes past, 0024. Midday, slightly different. Remember, midday means we start at 12 because it's PM, and the minutes are 58. So we notice that in digital time, 12:58 is almost exactly the same as 12:58 PM. Once we hit midday, we keep adding the hours on. So if it was 1 PM, we'd have to add an hour to this hour here, and it'd be 13. Right, once again, in your books, please, could you pause the video and have a go at this one here and this one here? See what you get, and then unpause the video to check if your answers are right. Okay, so for this one here, you should have got 00:58 because again, it's just past midnight with our 12 AM. And for this one, we have 14:58 because we've added 2 hours onto midday. Tick them if you got them right. See if you can spot if you made a mistake if you didn't get them quite right. Okay, so this time we're going from digital to analog, so that means our 24-hour time back into AM and PM. So we're looking at 0405 into analog. Now the most important part is again recognizing if it's AM or PM that we're looking at. Now because this one here has 04 as the hours, we know it's not going to be 4 PM because 4 PM looks like a lot bigger number because we've gone past midday, we've added 4 hours onto midday. So I know that this time here has to be a morning time at AM. So I've got an AM time here. So to start with, if it's an analog time, I already have to put down AM to tell it's morning. And because it's morning, I just write down the normal time, 04:58 AM. Second one, to check whether it's AM or PM. So because it's 00, I can tell that it's in the morning because remember our PM numbers all are bigger than 12. So I can put down AM in my answer. 00 was midnight, so I know that it's going to be 12:58 AM. Pause the video again, have a go at this one here and this one here, and then unpause it to see if you got your answer right. Okay, so you unpause the video. This one here is 2:05 PM because we've gone past 12, we've got PM as the afternoon, and it's 2 hours past 12 because it's 14, so we have 2:05 PM. This one here we have AM because it's before 12, so we've got 5:58 AM, and it doesn't matter if you put the 0 or whether you put just 5 on its own, both are correct. Okay, so the last thing you're going to do is once again you're going to pause the video. You can give yourself 10 minutes and see how many you can do, or if you want a challenge, try and have a go at all of these. So in your books, turn the first question from digital to analog, so that's going from this one to the AM and PM times. And for the second question, turn the AM and PM times into digital time, the one with 24 hours. Off you go for 10 minutes. Pause the video now. Okay, hopefully you've had a go at this. So get your red pen ready to mark these now. These are all the answers. Tick them if they're right, change them if they're wrong. Remember, you do need to write these down with red pen so I can check your work afterwards. Okay, and that's the very last part of the lesson, so well done for getting through it. Remember, now that you've finished the lesson, you have to go onto Firefly, you have to take a photo of your working and put it up as a file so I can tick off that you've done the lesson. Even if you've done all of the work, if you don't take a photo, I don't know it, so make sure you take a photo and put it up, and answer the question that's on the Firefly task as your final plenary part of the lesson. Hope you have a great day, guys. See you later.